again.
Wow! Well, thanks to you all for propelling me over the 1,000 subscribers line. It seems the 3060M is a lot more interesting than I first gave it credit for. Sorry I've been missing, I've been playing a little game called Starfield. This will be the completion of the 3060M trilogy, as although I thought I'd covered it enough, I was asked to try some more games. So, in this video we're going to see how it can do in Valorant, Counter-Strike 2, World of Warcraft, Overwatch, Rocket League and a few more. First off, I'd like to cover overclocking, which has been asked about a few times. In MSI Afterburner, the overclock scanner just refuses to do anything, probably because the power and temp limit sliders are locked. As you can see, the options are checked, but the only way to unlock it in Afterburner is to mess with the registry. I don't normally overclock, and although the core and memory clock options are unlocked, I'm going to keep it at default so as not to kill my son's Christmas present by accident. In Counter-Strike 2, I recorded the game playing from between 105 and 220 FPS with its settings set all the way up to 1080p. This was the first time I'd played CS2, and it doesn't really feel hugely different to Counter-Strike Source. I really like the smoke and fire effects, but I can say I'm very much out of practice on Counter-Strike. The drivers passed scrutiny and let me play without any issues, so that was the first online test done. Warzone was tested with the main governing setting set to Ultra, which it seemed happy enough with. There's the odd stutter spike when it struggles to load assets, but remember it only has 6 GB of RAM and it was built for mining, not gaming. From my play it was getting between 60 and 100 FPS, again no issues with the driver for online play. My only problem is I bound reload to the same key as chat, so as soon as I reloaded, I couldn't move, and I was easy prey. Next up is Overwatch 2 with its settings set to Epic. The only issue I found at all throughout getting the footage from most of the games for this video was that recorded footage has an occasional skip in the audio. That wasn't present in gameplay, it was just because of the janky setup I had recording gameplay into another PC. You'll notice it all the way through this video. Anyway, in Overwatch, FPS while playing the game was anywhere between 100 and 150 FPS.
I'm heading into the city to look for other survivors. You with me? Of course! They've deployed heavy artillery. Watch yourselves!
In Valorant, I had it set so all visual settings were as high as they would go.
If any of you die, I lose a bet with Brimstone, so don't embarrass me like that, please.
The Riot Vanguard security software was obviously fine with the modified drivers, as I was able to get into an online game just fine. I wasn't particularly good at it, but that's nothing to do with the 3060M, which produced a healthy 190 to 370 FPS during my session. As you can see, I enlarged the game FPS counter because Valorant does not like Afterburner.
You're on.
Else ready.
I had a go at Rocket League next, and with all the settings maxed, this crazy hybrid graphics card clocked in anything between 240 and 480 FPS. This is also the first time I've seen this card hit nearly 80 watts of power usage, but it was still remarkably cool, topping out at only 61 degrees during my play. Switching gears to MMOs, I installed World of Warcraft and again put all the settings to their maximum.
It's good to be back in Stormwind. Old Town, here we come!
I haven't played this in a very, very long time and had forgotten things like how to bring out my mount, how the hell do I fast travel between locations, that sort of thing. But that didn't stop the GPU hitting 70 to 175 FPS depending on the complexity of the world in frame.
Welcome to Stormwind. I have to say, I miss the hustle and bustle of the city.
Next up is something called League of Legends. Everything was yet again set to the highest visual settings, and as I played through whatever it was I was doing, I barely dropped below 400 FPS the whole time.
You have slain an enemy.
Take me, summoner.
Something tells me I won't be playing this game again, it's just not my kind of thing. But good for testing another online game even if I haven't got far enough in it to go PvP.
Shut down.
Diablo Immortal, like all the other games in this test, was set to its highest settings, getting anything between 215 to 310 FPS. The lack of RAM is evident as all the textures loaded up really slowly when I first loaded in, but after that, gameplay was fluid and smooth. Again, no driver issues.
Such evil cannot be tolerated.
Titanfall 2 has been in the news recently as the online servers have started working again, so I took it for a spin, and as with most of these multiplayer games, I had my ass handed to me with alarming regularity.
Let's get the job done.
The frame rate was rock solid at 144 FPS at highest settings regardless of the on-screen action, making me think there might be a cap in place somewhere. I had a great time playing the single-player campaign of this game and hadn't given the multiplayer side a thought until now. Out of online play and into a new release, I thought I'd see how the 3060M took to the new Robocop game demo. It seems there's no choice but to choose some kind of upscale option, so I went for DLSS on balanced and set the rest of the settings to high, which got me an FPS range of 75 to 105.
It's that metal break!
It seems the demo availability is now over, as I can't get back into it, so I guess I'll have to buy it if I want to play more.
Thank you for not smoking. Your move, creep. You have the right to an attorney? Dead or alive, you are coming with me. Waste makes haste, for time is fleeting. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. Trouble.
I wondered if the new Phantom Liberty update would do anything to the Cyberpunk 2077 benchmark, so I ran it again at Ultra, but this time with no DLSS upscaling and with the basic ray tracing option turned on. The bench run through came up with minimum mid-60s through to just over 100 FPS performance-wise, so considering the demands of this game, I was quite surprised. You can lock it to 60 FPS and play at Ultra with ray tracing at 1080p. What more can you ask? You certainly can't put all the other ray tracing options on because that halves your FPS. Another new release, and the reason I've been missing for so long, Starfield. With the high preset used and motion blur turned off because I just don't like it, you can fly around in space at over 60 FPS. Landing on a desolate planet to stretch your legs, you can expect these settings to give you between 50 and 60 FPS. Landing on a more populated planet with lots of structures and people can drop you down to the mid-40s, but with some settings tweaking and DLSS enabling mods, this can be improved dramatically. There's a great video from Hardware Unboxed on settings you can use to keep eye candy but raise the frame rate, so I suggest looking that up if your card struggles.
You will be scanned as you enter the city. Please keep moving. Okay, no
If you really want to stress the card out, you can mow down masses of innocent bystanders with a minigun, which drops you down to the mid-30 FPS range. I guess the game punishes you with a crappy frame rate if you do something evil. To include one final online game, I revisited an old favourite of mine from over 10 years ago, Age of Conan. If you haven't seen this before, it's kinda like World of Warcraft, but less cartoony and with more blood, and it's also free on Steam. As it's so old, it has no upscaling options, and its support ends with DirectX 10, but it's another online MMO, so I thought, what the hell? With all the settings as high as they go in a busy city with lots of textures to work with, the 3060M generated anything from 80 to 170 FPS. The main reason for these tests is because there was a question on if the anti-cheat software on multiplayer games would allow this card to be used with its driver hacks. Short answer, yes. That's also the long answer as well. This video will be the last on the 3060M, as I think I've covered any questions asked about it, and soon I won't have access to it anyway, as it'll be in my son's PC. Thanks again for the over 1,000 subscribers. It means a lot that so many people like my stuff, and I do try to reply to all of the questions and comments, even the negative ones. Right, time to get on with that Cairo 2 video I keep mentioning. I hope you all have a fun Halloween, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!